Hi, I'm Darren Claywell, the State Fire Meteorologist for South Dakota. And in this introductory video, I just wanted to kind of illustrate a few things about the Grassland Fire Danger Index, or the GFDI. The GFDI in the state of South Dakota is used for a variety of purposes. One is just kind of day-to-day knowledge of the local fire danger in your area. But two, there are some South Dakota codified laws and then county and local municipality regulations that use the Grassland Fire Danger Index to determine countywide or citywide burn bans. And then in South Dakota codified law, there is also some regulations that determine when you can use fireworks with respect to the Grassland Fire Danger Index. And so I just wanted to present to you some information regarding the GFDI and how it's produced. And I couldn't do this without the help of the National Weather Service, because they're the ones who actually produce the GFDI on a day-to-day basis. So we've got Jeff Johnson from the National Weather Service here in Rapid City to put together a little introductory video on what the GFDI is and what all it includes. So let's flip it over to Jeff. And he'll give you kind of an idea, a basic overview of the GFDI, and then I'll close out with how we can apply the GFDI, what it actually means, and how it differs from maybe a wildfire potential index. Because again, the GFDI is just day-to-day conditions. It's not really going to tell you what's going on, say, next week in terms of fire danger. So Jeff, take it away.
This is Jeff Johnson with the National Weather Service in Rapid City, South Dakota. Wanted to talk today about the Grassland Fire Danger product that we produce throughout the state of South Dakota. It's produced on a daily basis, 365 days a year, and is available on our website. It's a collaborative effort between the offices in Rapid City, Aberdeen, and Sioux Falls. This particular product is an example from May 3rd of this year, is not indicative of current conditions, but just an example product. And it shows that the Grassland Fire Danger can range from low all the way up to extreme. And we figure as we're getting to that time of year where grasses are curing and we're heading through July 4th, it's a good time to remind people about this product and how it can be used to assess fire danger on a daily basis. And after I'm done talking about this product, what goes into it, the parameters that we use to calculate the Grassland Fire Danger Index, then our state fire meteorologist for South Dakota, Darren Claywell, is going to talk a little bit more about fire danger aids that you can use to assess fire danger on more of a seasonal scale. So the Grassland Fire Danger product is designed to cover the prairies of South Dakota, not the Black Hills, but the prairies of South Dakota, and is to predict the potential for non-agricultural grasslands to carry fire. So it's not designed to predict whether or not a fire will occur. It's designed to predict how the grasses will be able to carry that fire should a fire occur. And again, it does not cover the Black Hills, with Black Hills being more of a timber fuel model. And it's available at our website, weather.gov/UNR/RFD. It's a mathematical formula that we use to produce this product. The three weather elements that are going to this product are temperature, relative humidity, and wind speed. And then we also use curing data, which is satellite derived, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. The reason that I've highlighted wind speed and curing data is those are the two parameters that go into this product that carry the most weight. So temperature, relative humidity carries some weight, but not nearly as much as wind speed and basically the curing data, or how green the fuels are. So with three of the four weather elements being the input into this index, you can see that on a daily basis from one day to the next, since temperature can rise, temperature can fall from one day to the next. It can be wet one day, it can be dry the next day. This Grassland Fire Danger product can vary greatly from one day to the next. And it's primarily driven by those three weather elements. And again, of those three weather elements, wind has the greatest impact. So, if it's a hot day and it's relatively dry outside, but we have zero wind, then likely the Grassland Fire Danger Index is going to be fairly low. But if we have hot and dry conditions and a very windy day and the fuels are receptive, then we can have a very high or even extreme Grassland Fire Danger Index for that day. This is just an example of the curing data that we used. It's satellite based. And in this particular example here, green is essentially wet or green fuels. Red is where fuels have become fairly cured. You can see northeastern Wyoming, southeast Montana, and parts of western South Dakota have cured out quite a bit. it shows up quite green in the Black Hills. Well, again, this being a satellite-derived product, it's seeing a lot of the trees in the Black Hills, and that's why this particular product is not designed to be used for the Black Hills, and even this satellite-derived greenness product that we make available on our website at the image below should not be used for the Black Hills and only for the prairies. And okay, so that's about all I have, and Darren will take it away with some more in-depth information about a little bit more about the Grassland Fire Danger product, and then about more seasonal products that you can use. Darren?
Thanks, Jeff, for that description. So Jeff was saying that the GFDI includes temperature, RH, curing percentage, and wind speed, with curing percentage and wind speed being kind of the big players. At the bottom of your screen, you can actually see the giant equation that calculates the GFDI. Now, it's pretty complex, but let's break it down. I'm going to flip over to an Excel spreadsheet, and we're going to game out some different scenarios on changing the numbers to see how it actually changes the GFDI with respect to those 4 different variables. So on the screen now is just an Excel spreadsheet of the GFDI, or the Grassland Fire Danger Index. So up here we have the adjective ratings, and they go from low to extreme. And each of these adjective ratings has an associated numeric value that goes with it. And the low end goes from 0 to 2, and anything above 50 goes to extreme. And so down here, I actually have the calculations of where I produce the GFDI. So if I just click on this FDI digit, or the Fire Danger Index digit, this right here at the top of the Excel spreadsheet is actually the equation that takes into account our curing percentage, our temperature, our wind velocity, and our RH. Now, temperature and velocity that go into this are in Celsius and kilometers per hour, but I've converted them to Fahrenheit and miles per hour over here, so you can see what we're working with. So let's just say I have a range of curing percentages from 20% cured or mostly green down to 100% cured or completely dead grass. And we're talking a temperature of 30 degrees Celsius or 86 degrees Fahrenheit and a wind speed of roughly 20 miles per hour or 32 kilometers per hour. And on top of that, an RH of 25%. You can see that the FDI digit ranges from 0 under the low curing percentage all the way up to 29, which corresponds to a very high fire danger when the curing percentage is 100%. And that's given the exact same weather variables. So that curing percentage plays a huge role. Now, let's bump our winds way up. Let's go 55 kilometers per hour for the same spread of curing percentages and the same temperature and the same RH. And 55 kilometers an hour is roughly 34 miles per hour. So, like a Tuesday in South Dakota. And now you can see that under an 80% curing percentage, we're at a very high, while at 100% with the curing percentage, we're at an extreme. And for kicks, let's leave our temperature the same, but let's make our RH go down to 15%, which for Western South Dakota is red flag warning criteria. And this would be kind of a classic red flag warning day. Now, the red flag warning program is not based upon the GFDI in our state. However, you can see that for an RH of 15%, a wind velocity of 55 kilometers an hour or 34 miles per hour. For the range of curing percentages, now we get down to this 80 and 100% again. It really didn't change that much, right? We're still in the very high to extreme categories for the mostly cured grasses when we dropped it from 25% to 15%. So it just really illustrates that it's the velocity, the wind speed, and the curing percentage that are really dictating a lot of what we're seeing in terms of the actual GFDI adjective rating on the ground. So important takeaways here, again, curing percentage and wind speed. And as Jeff talked about in his section of the video, the curing percentage comes from a satellite-derived greenness product. I know it's imperfect, but rather than being subjective, it's a very objective measure of greenness. And it's something that we're going to continue to work on refining and to ensure that we're giving the best product that's out there. But because of the sensitivity of the GFDI to the curing percentage and the methodology in which we're using, it's kind of a tough thing. So I understand, there's a lot of areas of the state right now that may be visually more cured than what the NDVI curing percentage product is giving us. I understand that. But again, this is a very objective way of analyzing conditions across the state. The key takeaway here is that the Grassland Fire Danger Index is an index that just looks at day-to-day fire danger. right? It only takes into account temperature, RH, wind speed, and then that critical curing percentage component. It doesn't look at long-term drought, doesn't look at anything like that. If you want to assess more of a weekly or monthly wildfire potential across our state, you can do a couple of things. One, you can look at the National Interagency Fire Center's Outlook webpage, URL link here. Or two, I produce a lot of products just like that for the state of South Dakota. Now, we produce a weekly weather discussion that looks at weekly conditions across the state. I also produce a monthly fire potential outlook at the beginning of every month that looks at monthly kind of conditions, where we're sitting at. And again, I issue those on the first working day of every month. So it might be the second or the third, but you should still get it. Now, how do you get it? Well, one, you can follow me on Twitter or contact me directly to get those products sent to you. I maintain a listserv, of various folks across the state, and I kind of blast it out on there, and then folks can disseminate those products however they see fit. So the big thing here, though, is that Gfdi is not a potential thing. You can't look at today's Gfdi and say, hey, next week it's okay to burn because today's Gfdi is low. No, it might only be low today because the wind speed is nothing, right? Fuels might be really cured, there might be a lot of potential, but there's no wind speed, and so you're not going to get a high Gfdi value. If you have any questions or comments, concerns, please contact me, darren.clabo@sdsmt.edu, or you can contact my friends over at the Weather Service. Depending on what office, what area you're at, it's either the Rapid City office for Western South Dakota, the Sioux Falls office for Southeastern South Dakota, and the Aberdeen office for North Central and Northeastern South Dakota. So again, thanks for watching this video. Comments, feedback, all that stuff, wonderful to have. I hope this was somewhat educational for you. And again, thanks for your time.